Hey everyone, Yasuo Makes Plays here. Today I'm going to go over my Yasuo Riven deck. I love Yasuo in this game. I've made a Yasuo Swain video. I usually play Yasuo Katarina when I play Yasuo most of the time. But now with Riven out, I think Riven and Yasuo have a lot more synergy than meets the eye at first, and I'd love to go over that with you guys. I made this deck, and I've been playing it, and it's actually pretty solid, and there's a lot of cool different ways to go into building this deck. But I'll show you guys what I came up with. First off is Blade Squire. 1 mana, 1/2, Last Breath, Reforge. Real quickly, I'll explain Reforge. Reforge creates a random Blade Fragment, still need to restore the Blade. Once you've cast all 3, create Blade of Exile. It goes to your hand. So when this dies, or when you Reforge in general, you get a random fragment. You can get, this one gives +2/+0, this one gives Overwhelm, this one gives Quick Attack, and it can only give you one you don't already have. So we'll start, let's say we get this one. Next time we get Quick Attack. The one we haven't gotten is the Overwhelm. Then once you use all of them and you Reforge again, it starts over randomly. When you've activated all 3, you get a Blade of the Exile in your hand, grant an ally +2/+0, Overwhelm, and Quick Attack. This is permanent. These are for the turn. But let's get into why I play Blade Squire, because we can go more into the fragments when we get to Riven, because they have really cool combos with her. Blade Squire, Last Breath, Reforge. Okay, so the cool thing is deck previously didn't have a 1-drop to block with. This helps stop early aggression. It reforges, and it can set up Ravenous Flock by damage to enemy through blocking. So I think it does a lot for a 1-drop, and I like it a lot in this deck too. Ravenous Flock, we just went over. So if you block with the Blade Squire, you can deal 4 to unit if it's damaged or stunned, blocking, or any combat, or any damage at all. Damages it, and then stunning it. Of course, we're playing a Yasuo deck, tons of stuns in this, so 1 mana, 4 damage. That's pretty insane. This can kill a lot of 5-cost cards, 4-cost cards. It usually always gets value. This card's very strong, so amazing stuff here. 3 Fey Blade Twirler. Quick Attack. When you stun or recall a unit, grant me +2/+0. Very strong. This card can easily get like 7 attack, 9 attack, 11 attack. And one of the cool things about Riven, so one of the synergies, is that if you have the Overwhelm Blade Fragment, which you'll have like, it's really easy to get the Blade Fragments, you'll have them all the time. You can give Overwhelm to Fey Blade Twirler as a win condition, or you can Blade of Exile it to give it Overwhelm and more attack as a win condition. And strike for huge damage when she has the Overwhelm. You can also stun their blockers that have more defense to do even more damage with the Overwhelm. So very, very strong. You pretty much always want her on 2. The earlier you have her, the earlier she'll start racking up the attack, and then can push for the huge Overwhelm, lethal, or just momentum damage in general. Really strong stuff. 3 Runeweaver. When I'm summon Reforge, so it's a 2-drop for 3/1. Can get good trades, so they're like 3/2s or 3 health units, and then you get another Blade Fragment to work towards the Blade of Exile. So pretty self-sufficient, pretty good. 2 Steel Tempest, stun attack enemy. This card's really good right now because you can use it against all the elusives in the meta. It's good in general. You can use it on Ezreal, Zoe, Teemo, just generic attacks like Draven, even big attackers like Captain Farron. And with Yasuo, it'll deal 2 damage to them. This is also Yasuo's Champ spell, and you can even run 3 of this card depending on what you're playing against. So big fan of this card. It used to cost 3, now it costs 2 because they buffed it a bit back, and I really like it. So Steel Tempest is good. 3 Arachnite Sentry. Play stun an enemy. This card's really strong because you can stop pretty much all aggression your opponent's doing, or it can open up pathways for attacks if you stun their blockers. And with Yasuo will deal 2 damage in his leveled up form to the enemy. So when you stun an enemy and you have Yasuo, he strikes them or deals damage to them. We'll get to that. But this card's also very good at Ravenous Flock. It's a very simple combo. 3 mana, 3/2, stun an enemy. If you stun them, you can Ravenous Flock them. A lot of decks, even a lot of tier 1 decks right now and in the past, have used Sentry plus Flock combo. So, for example, Draven, let's say they have Draven plus other things like House Spider. You can stun Draven, and then you can block also, which is 2 blockers. You get the stunned one, you stun attacker, it's kind of like a blocker, then you can block itself, and then you can also flock the Draven and get rid of it. Pretty good. All right, 3 Riven. When you gain the attack token, Reforge. So that means if it's your opponent's turn in the end, it's your turn, you gain the attack token, you Reforge. You get one of the Blade Fragments you don't already have, you get to the Blade of Exile. Her Champ spell is Riven's Weapon Hilt. Give an ally +2/+0 this round and Reforge. That's if you have a Riven on the field and you have a Riven in hand. Pretty overall good Champ spell, but her level up form is pretty cool. So she still does that when you gain the attack token, Reforge, but when her powers increase for the first time each round, increase it by twice as much. That means if you have her 4 or 5 level up form, and then you level her up, give her this, gain or grant +2/+0, Overwhelm Quick Attack, it's grant +4/+0. It can push for some serious damage. She becomes an 8/5 with Quick Attack, overwhelm, and they attack, of course. It's the most important part. And then she levels up when you see a Blade of Exile in your hand. So when you play all the fragments, it like creates in your hand. It just pops up in your hand. So she just has to see it. So the reason you play her, the Overwhelm Fey Blade Twirl is one of the synergies we went through so far, but there are more coming. But yeah, she is a good statted 3-drop. She's a 3/4 for 3, which is already amazing stats. So it can kind of hold down the early game. It's hard for the opponent to deal with, and you can kind of sit her on the field, set her up, and she's start running Blade Squire, Rune Weaver, and Riven. It's very easy to get the Blade of Exile and be able to get the level up form for alternate win condition. But yeah, I think she's really good. Good stats. 3 Concussive Palm. Stun an enemy to summon a Tail of the Dragon, similar to Reclamate Sentry. If they open it, so this card is really cool because let's say you're playing it's a person who has good aggression, obviously stunning, good at stopping aggression. Let's say they develop a unit. Then you can stun with Concussive Palm and play Tail of the Dragon. It's 2 blockers. You get the stunned one, and because you stun with the Concussive Palm, and Tail of the Dragon also can block itself. So it's 1 card, 2 blockers. But let's say they open attack, like, oh, well, I don't want to play an Reclamate Sentry. He'll block my cards. He'll stun something. Let's attack. Then you can just, stun the unit they attack with. So pretty good. Whether they develop or they summon, you can get some good blockers in. And it's a stun, so it levels up Yasuo, and Yasuo strikes them, but we'll get into that. We'll get to Yasuo. 2 Deny. So have a fast spell, slow spell, or skill. You can run 3 in certain metas. I think 2 is good right now. Denying denies against Lee Sin is good. A lot of decks right now are only running like single combats and such. For example, like Targon, Aesol, Demacia Plaza only runs a few spells like single combat. And it can be good against the Edge Draven spells. It's a good card overall. You can run 3 if you want. Right now I'm running 2. And I'm also running Deep Meditation so you can see it more often. So that also helps. But we'll get into that card as well. 2 Spirit Refuge. So a little thing to talk about this card. It has a few, I guess, uses in this deck. Give down like Barrier and Lifesteal this round. Alright, so 1, it heals back. And you can get big attack units with Fey Blade Twirler and Legion General, which we'll get to. So you can heal 10+. Second thing, it can protect your Yasuo. They try and use let's say, Thermoject Beam for 4 on Yasuo. You play Spirit Refuge, and then has Barrier, so it lives. It also, unlike Deny, can save Yasuo in combat. Let's say you attack with Yasuo, quick attack, think you're safe. Usually you don't play it safe, but you attack eventually later in the game or something. And they play like Riposte to try and kill your Yasuo. Then you can use Spirit Refuge and save it in combat. And it's just really versatile. A key part, though, is that, see, it says lifesteal damage the unit heals in excess that much. Yasuo, when you stun or recall an enemy, I deal 2 to it. Or leveled up, when you stun or recall an enemy, I strike it, so 5 attack. That actually heals. So if you play Spirit Refuge on something, like Yasuo, and you block with him, and then you also, let's say, you steal Tempest like the other guy, you gain the health from the battle that he dealt 4 in with the Spirit Refuge. Then you also gain 2 from dealing 2 damage with his effect. So yeah, he heals off of his ability, and with level ability, of course, he heals 5 or more, depending on what attack is or whatever. So pretty good. I guess we're going to get into Yasuo now, since we're already here. So he levels up and you stun and recall 5+ units. Pretty easy to level up in this deck. And it basically just turns your stuns into like 2 damage Mystic Shots. And when he's leveled up, it makes your stuns become strikes. So it deals 5 to everything. So even a simple Reckoning Sentry can kill an entire unit dealing 5 to it. Very strong, relatively easy to level up, and pretty much the focal point of the deck is controlling the game with him and using these as removal / also controlling your opponent attacks and aggression and such. And he's a huge combo with Intimidating Roar, which I think we're about to get to. We'll go straight to Intimidating Roar. All right. Yasuo plus Intimidating Roar. You have Yasuo in the field. Slow. Stun all enemies with 4 less power. Really good against decks a lot of like smaller attack units. Like Gohar has a lot. Draven Ezreal has a bit. Teemo Sedge has a lot. All kinds of stuff like Scouts. You can stun all enemies with 4 less power. So this does a few things because A, it stuns the entire enemy field, so it can open up your attack or ruin their attack. And, kind of halt all of it. It does 2 to everything with Yasuo, so you get to damage other enemies, set them up for flock, just in general, just damage them. But it also levels up Yasuo really easily because they have a big board. You've already done a few stuns. If Yasuo's leveled up in your roar, it deals 5 to everything, which like kills everything pretty much if they're 4 or lower. You'd assume they have around that low health. And yeah, you can just level up easily and kill opponents' entire boards with it. Pretty cool. Next, we have Deep Meditation. 5 mana for draw 2 other spells, but It costs 2 less if you cast 2+ spells last round. The Blade Fragments count as spells, and they're very cheap. They're just 1 mana. Like Ravenous Flock's also 1 mana. So use a Fragment and a Flock in a turn. Next turn, this only costs 3. So it's very easy to discount off Demeditation, and it gives you card advantage because it's 1 card that gives you 2 cards. And it lets you search your toolbox of spells like Deny, Protect Things, Palm, Steel Tempest, Roar, all kinds of stuff can be searched. The Flock, so yeah, pretty good to have a synergy with the Fragments like that. So I like that. 2 Legion General. So when I'm summoned, grant me +1/+1 for each unit you've stunned or recalled this game. This card can get so huge. This card can easily get to 10+ attack. One reason I love this card is that unlike Yasuo, so for Yasuo to get value out of stuns, he has to be on the field, right? He has to like, you know, see the cards getting stunned. Like he loves it in the deck, but if you stun something in Steel Tempest, he's not in the field, it just stuns it. He has to be on the field to do the 2 damage. But Legion General doesn't have to see anything. So all the game where you're playing your stuns with your Intimidating Roars and your Steel Tempest and your Palm and your Sentry, he's getting stronger in the deck. And then when he's like 10+ attack, same thing as Faye, you give him the Overwhelm Fragment and push for game or push for huge damage. So really good. And he has Fearsome built in, so they can only block with like, you know, they can't just block with weenies, which is nice because if you don't have the Overwhelm Fragment, they have to actually block with like real strong units. And he usually becomes like a 12 flow. He gets huge health as well, so he wins the combat trade. So I like this card a lot. Makes all your stuns worth more than just being a stun. 3 Minotaur Reckoner, 6 mana, 6/6, round start, stun the weakest enemy. This with Yasuo kind of locks people down in the game. You want to have these 2 together, because every turn, you know, you're stunning the weakest enemy, and Yasuo's striking it and killing it. They play more enemies, and you still Tempest them. They have that in their turn, and then next turn starts. You know, you're killing the next weakest enemy over and over, and you easily gain field control. Even if someone to Equinox it or something, then it's still 6 mana, 6/6. So it has amazing stats and helps you lock on the board. So I run 3. It's very important to get this with Yasuo. Last card is Mina Swiftfoot, 9 mana, 7/6, recall 3 enemies. It's kind of a bomb. This deck can easily go to the later turns, like the very late turns, 8+. And Mina Swiftfoot can kind of clean up the game from there because she is just getting rid of the entire enemy field. And Yasuo strikes all enemies on the field. But it mostly just opens up for like a game shot, like going for lethal, removing all their blockers or big threats, whatever. So basically the stuns allow you to get to this 9 mana point. By then you've had plenty of time to draw Mina, and you can go in for the kill. So there's a few cards. I'll quickly go over what you could have ran. Katarina. I love Katarina in this deck. I usually play her, but I'm trying Riven right now, and I like Riven too. She's when she recalls herself when she strikes, which helps with Yasuo. But also when you play her, it rallies, and then it lets you attack over and over and over again. So you can put on huge damage. She also makes Faye Blade Twirler stronger every turn, and has quick attack like Faye and Yasuo. So you could run 1 like 3 Yasuo, 2 Riven, 1 Katarina. I think Katarina is pretty cool in this deck. It's probably her best deck overall. Other cards, there's a lot of cards you can play in this deck. You can play Guile, stun enemy. I've had success with this. It seems like it wouldn't be that great at first, but you have a Yasuo, it's just a 1 mana deal 2/stun. And if Yasuo's leveled up, it's just a 1 mana deal 5/stun. So really cost efficient. I like this card a lot, and it's easy to do Deep Med. If you use this and Ravenous Flock together, you can just refill Deep Med because they're so cheap. Other cards, Eye the Dragon can be played. Summon a Dragonling if you cast 2+ spells this round. So that's pretty good. Get Dragonlings if you use the Fragments and such. To heal, this card just amazing, one of the best 2 from the game. You have House Spider. 2 summons a 1/1. Good blockers, hold on the early game and set up Ravenous Flocks by blocking. You can play Nopify. You can play Retreat to recall your units if they're like trying to kill Yasuo. And then you can resummon things. And it's 2 things for Deep Meds. That's good. You can run 3 of this. You can run Sonic Wave to use the challengers on top of Quick Attack, like with Yasuo and Faye Blade Twirl, which get removal of cards and buff things. And it's also 2 for Deep Med. Let's see what else. Monastery Arena. This is a good one up in this deck. Round start, create a Sanctuary in hand. Sanctuary says recall an ally, and it can be casting combat or responsive spell. But what you can do with this card is you can, at the end of the game, if you have the Monastery, keep reusing Mina Swiftfoot. Add your hand, play it again. Add your hand, play it again. Decks can't beat that. It locks them out. Another big thing, this is probably the biggest thing with Monastery Arena, is that when this card is recalled, so from the Sanctuary from Monastery Arena, transform it Concussive Bombs. You can stun an enemy, and then you can just bounce back your hand. And it keeps giving you infinite stuns, which is really powerful. It's super hard to beat. And it also, these are 1 mana, so they help Deep Med. You can easily get a discount Deep Meditation, which can help you search for Concussive Palm and get that infinite Concussive Palm stun loop going. So This card's really cool as a one-of in this deck. Might is good, give an ally +2/+0 and Overwhelm, as we said, with Legion General and Fade Blade Twirler and such. You can push huge damage with the Overwhelm. I don't run this card because I already have the Blade Fragments to do that for me. Yeah, you don't get the extra 3 attack, but I feel like the Blade Fragments are kind of... Like, people ran this in the past because it was so good with the Fae and the Legion, but the Blade Fragments do that for me, like, built into the deck, so it's nice. This card can be used to protect Yasuo, giving him +0/+3. Yeah, some pool cards more than nice. Oh, there's one more card I remember. 2 more cards, actually. I guess, well, if I only recall a unit. This is good to have proactive things. A lot of times, they'll leave their threats back. They don't need to attack. And this can just kind of move them out of the way, especially big costing units like Captain Fair and such. And then if the one that's not attacking, it's like Mind Splitter. Get rid of Mind Splitter. Then the other card is Yone. Yone. Play stun 2 enemies. So you think, oh, you just play this because it's amazing in this deck. It's hard to fit everything in this deck, and you already have a lot of stuns. This card's really strong in this deck, but it's a trade-off. You know, whenever you cut a card or deck, you have to cut something. So it didn't make the final cut, but this could definitely be good, especially in metas with big, bulky units, like big mid-range units, like say against your playing Ashe or something, and they have Ashe and Sejuani, and you stun both. That can really blow people away. It also makes Yasuo strike both, which is really strong. So yeah, that's the deck. We're up against Twisted Fate Fizz. This is a deck that's been really popular lately, and it's starting to make a rise on the ranked ladder. Could maybe even push itself to tier 1. It's definitely a solid tier 2 deck right now. But for now, let's focus on the game at hand. So a few things here. We don't need Sentry. Usually we're always in a mulligan for like Yasuo, Fade Blade Twirler, Riven, or Runeweaver just for your early game units. We don't need this. Deny we can maybe use later, but it's a bit expensive for an opening hand, so we get rid of that. I love Intimidating Roar this matchup. It could also be insanely strong if we get Yasuo. Let's keep it since we only have 2 in this deck, and it'd be nice to make sure we have it for later. Wow. Okay, so we have Yasuo and Roar. That's very strong, and Fae, which is very strong in this matchup because they play a bunch of like weak elusive units that are hard to block and hard to deal with, but if we just have a card like this that just, you know, can kill all of them with Yasuo, it can be very, very potent. I'm down to block here. I feel like saving the extra health is important for us. This puts Fae in range of Mystic Shot, but I don't really mind. I think keeping our health high is a very important part of this game right now. And it sets up for Ravenous Flock, which is nice. Alright, so let's just play Riven here, keep it simple. We'll see what he does. We don't reveal we have Flock yet. I don't even know if I'm using Flock yet, because I could just leave this here and Yasuo could clean it up with Intimidating Roar. So I might just leave it there and see what happens. But it all really depends on what he decides to do. So we have Flock here, deal with threats, Spirit Refuge and Deny to heal back, protect Yasuo, protect Riven, deny like maybe a game-changing spell, and then Intimidating Roar. So yeah, I think I'm actually going to leave that there so we can roar it with Yasuo. It will get a few of the ignitions off that, but it's not a big deal because we can heal it back with Spirit Refuge. He's thinking really hard. I don't could be anything, I guess. Maybe he's unfamiliar with the matchup, which is understandable because Yasuo's not too popular. Bit of a catch people off guard kind of deck. Ooh. Ooh. That's important. So he drew Suit Up. Pretty unfortunate for us, honestly. We can't even Intimidating Roar it anymore either. It's a bit rough. I guess we just have to pass here. We could attack with Riven, and then hope he'd block with this, and then we'd flock it, which there's some consideration for, but I think we'll play it slow for now. Maybe make him waste his attack token, and he blocks himself. Or if he doesn't want to attack with it, he's afraid we might have something, then we get the fragment real quick with the Reforge. But yeah, that Suit Up was pretty insane. Alright. Without that Suit Up, he's in a very rough spot here. We'll play this here. He's tapped out, so he can only attack with that. Which we might just have to take 5 for. Or we'll probably actually just block, I guess, and then we can flock that. Pretty good. I'd like to get more value off Fae, but yeah, again, drawing that Suit Up puts us out of range of Intimidating Roar. Which is very strong, and getting rid of this is definitely worth it. Alright, as you can see, Flock, very powerful. I really wanted a Wombo combo. That Suit Up made it very difficult. But in theory, if we didn't draw Suit Up, we could have, like, you know, stunned everything, killed them all with Yasuo, which is still can do, but also would have made Fae stronger. Oh, get overwhelmed. We can save that one for later when we have huge attackers.
Some things never.
Here we'll attack with just this. It has quick attack, so not really much you can do here. If things go awry or something, we have Spirit Refuge, which can save him during combat. That's why I like it over Deny a lot of the time, or sometimes.
Watch the ball, folks.
So no reason to do anything here. He might pick a card, and then wherever he does, we can kill Twisted Fate, or he might just pass. Either way is fine with me. We're kind of telegraphing we have Intimidating Roar, but not tapping under 5. But to be fair, we also have nothing else to do. He doesn't know that though, and we can always just use this whenever the time's right. Especially now that we can back it up with Deny or Spirit Refuge, and it'll all level up this Legion General. All right, just pass here. Suit up again. Alright, I mean, we're heading forward, but we made him use this suit up, which is actually nice, because in a way we're killing an extra card. We're killing not just the Fizz that was there, but also the suit up, if that makes sense. So we got rid of an extra card out of his hand. We take forward, but it's 2 extra than Fizz would have done, but yeah. We get to kill the suit up and 4 units. This will be 4 out of 5 for the stuns, so we just need 1 more, and then we have the Yasuo level up, and we have Minotaur Reckoner we can play next turn to make it really hard for him to come back. And on our attack, we're going to be getting another fragment for the Riven. This card can get really strong attack just from the stun here, if we stun all 4. Then it's become an 8/8. So an 8/8 with Fearsome, if you put on the Overwhelm unit, the Overwhelm fragment on the unit, then he has to, since Fearsome can only block with enemies with 3 or more power, he has to block, I guess, like a real unit, and then he has to lose it and also take a lot of damage. Alright. I believe, I didn't actually look, but I think this was the card first to his left, which means this is the card he drew off of Pool Shark? Or maybe this was the card he drew off Pool Shark. I wasn't looking close enough. But you can kind of follow their hand with Pool Shark. They always draw the fleeting card first and the actual card.
I'm
Okay.
always up for a round or two.
This was the fleeting card. Interesting.
Hold it, partner.
Alright, maybe he's gonna try and Mystic Shot that or something. I'm not really sure. I guess he's just playing because it was gonna go away. Just wondering why I didn't use blue card or something. So here again, we can attack with Yasuo, chip away 4, because the quick attack. And if he tried to stop me, we had like Spirit Refuge or something to protect it. Here we also have Minotaur, Reckoner, plus like the Spirit Refuge and stuff for protection. So we can choose between multiple things here. We have Flock, but this can negate that, but we have Palm to kill this. So things will get carried away with this level up, or it gets a chance to level up. We also have protection between Spirit Refuge and Deny, or we can just pass. And by passing, we can kind of wait for him to overcommit on the Twisted Fate, and then we can palm it. It's a lot of good stuff here. But yeah, on the round start, if no other units are played, this will be the one that dies. Or gets hit by the Minotaur Reckoner. So now it's a 4/4. I think it could be good just to do this here. He probably can't answer the Yasuo at this point. And then we also kill it anyway. I guess we just wait. We just pass. Keep our things up, because this will be killed at the very beginning of the round. And then this isn't leveled up yet. And then now since Yasuo is leveled up, he strikes for 5 with Concussive Bomb. So we can kill that Twisted Fate in 1 shot, despite it being suited up. Pretty good stuff. This game's going really well. This is one of the more popular decks at like high ranked masters, so it's good to see us doing well here. Riven. Mystic Shot on Riven. Yeah, I don't really care about that, to be honest. Do I just play this now? That leaves us open with not too much. I guess we can just pass because he'll lose some of the pick card things he got. And it costs 0, right? It's pretty good. I mean, he's definitely going to attack with that. Otherwise, we just end. And then it's just Minotaur Reckoner plus Yasuo is really good. I want to leave up protection for them. I kind of just want to see what he has. You make him tap out a bit. Okay, so this is why this deck's so strong, is it does this like crazy like refuel type thing with the Burble Fishes. Man, again, if he passes, it's fine because he's just missing out damage. Alright, now we have to be careful because it's going to be at 7 out of 8. We definitely don't want that leveling up. But if he has like salvage or rummage again, then he can level it up. Was that crit up Burrowfish? I'm gonna assume it was. Wait, he discarded rummage in a trigger rate? That means he has to have a way to level it up, or maybe he was just digging. So he had nothing else to do. Interesting. I don't really know what's going on here. I'm kind of scared, so I guess on the stack I'll just use this. We have another Yasuo though, but I just don't want to level up, and playing the Yasuo is a big mana commitment. Okay, so that dies. I guess he wants to get the blue card off the draw because he's realizing he's in a losing situation. But the Reckoner is going to stun that. We're going to have this. Going to go to 10-10, and then we have the Overwhelm Fragment and the Quick Attack Fragment, which is nice. We also can put Spear Refuge on it to keep it saving health as well as healing off of the strike. We'll do that. We really don't have to, but I think that keeping its health high could be nice. Just because it makes it hard for him to kill it for removal. Alright, I'm down to Step Tempest here just to kind of remove his remaining cards. Seems kind of a blowout. Yeah, I really wanted to get... Okay, so Legion General would have gotten there. Like, you know, 11-11, 10-10, 12-12, whatever we get to. And it would have had Overwhelm and push for game. But we already won anyway, so it's fine.